Well, students, I welcome for this online class and listen here with a continuation of previous class. For the today's class, I am going to discuss about particle nature of light. So, in this part, I am going to discuss about particle nature of the light. Yes, in this particle nature of the light, we are going to study about conclusions of the Einstein's photoelectric theory, that in order to have the light is behaving in terms of a particle and how it behaves as a particle. So, already Einstein told that particle is nothing but a quantum, that is nothing but a photon, and this photon is nothing but the what? Particle. And next we are going to study about what are the properties or characteristic of this photon. What characteristics are associated with the particle nature of this radiation, that is photon. So, first here in the particle nature of light, so we require to just take the summarize of photoelectric effect. So, in order to prove the particle nature of the light, here they are taking the concept of photoelectric effect. We should take the concept of photoelectric effect here. So, once if you go through the phenomenon of photoelectric effect, and this phenomenon is purely an interaction between radiation and matter. Obviously, because there is some photosensitive material plate and you are going to illuminate a radiation of some suitable frequency. So that the electrons are get ejected from the surface of a metal. So, this is nothing but the what? An interaction between light and material. So, it is the interaction between light and matter. So, during this interaction, the light behaves as a small discrete units. Already Einstein in his theory, he said that the emission of light or absorption of the light will take place in the form of discrete units, and this discrete unit they called as photon. It means whenever the radiation interacts with the matter, it interacts in the form of a discrete units, and this discrete units are called as quanta. So, or this discrete unit has got some definite amount of energy, and that energy will be given as E is equal to h nu, and we call this is photon. So, we call this is nothing but the what? A photon energy we call. So, this energy we call as photon energy. So, what is photon? A quanta. So, what is a quanta? Some small discrete packets of energy. So, here h is called Planck's constant. H is called Planck's constant and nu is called frequency. Nu is called frequency. Further, not only calculating the energy of a photon, even they have calculated the momentum associated with this photon. So, the momentum associated with the photon they found P is equal to h nu divided by c. So, this is the momentum associated with the photon, and this result or this calculation was done by the person Albert Einstein. See, if a photon possesses some energy and it has a momentum, means these are the enough evidence for the agreement for the light as consisting a packets of energy called as a quanta, or that is called as a photon. So, definitely the momentum and energy are clearly indicating that the light consisting a particle, and definitely photon is nothing but a particle. The energy and momentum are the clear indication of strong agreement with the what? Particle nature of the light. If a particle possesses momentum as well as energy, So then we say that if an entity possesses momentum and energy, then it is an agreement that it should be a particle only. Later on, this particle nature was confirmed in the year 1924 by A.H. Compton by performing an experiment, scattering of X-ray by electrons. Scattering of electrons, scattering of X-rays by electrons, scattering of X-rays by electrons. So later on, A.H. Compton also verified the particle nature of light and the existence of a photon as a particle, because it possesses some energy, even it is associated with the momentum. These two evidences are enough in order to give the agreement about the particle nature of light, or photon, nothing but a particle of light. So next, later on further, they calculated about what are the other aspects of this photon, how actually this photon, and what are the other characteristics are associated with this photon. Now we shall go discussing about characteristics of photon one by one. So we should go for, now we shall study about the characteristics of this photon. So now I am going to study about the characteristics of this photon. So we shall recall the one by one what are the characters are associated with the photon. So one by one. See here, photon name is given for the particle of a light. So this photon has got energy E is equal to h nu. E is equal to h nu. So it means during the interaction of light and matter, this light behaves a small packets of energy called as photon, and this photon is associated with energy E is equal to h nu, where h is Planck constant, nu is frequency. The second point, the photon has got energy E is equal to h nu, as well as it is associated with the momentum. It has momentum. Photon has got momentum, that is P is equal to h nu by c, or we can also write this as h by lambda. So once if you look at the energy and momentum of a photon, here energy as well as momentum, momentum of photon, or energy as well as momentum of photon are depends on frequency. They are independent of intensity here. They are independent of intensity. This is the second characteristic of this photon. The third one, see, energy possessed by the photon E is equal to h nu, and momentum P is equal to h nu by c, or h by lambda. So here, whereas h is Planck constant, nu is frequency, velocity of a photon, and remember velocity of the photon is almost the same as velocity of light, and here wavelength of the photon, wavelength associated with the photon. And remember, the energy as well as momentum of a photon are depends on frequency. So this is the third one. Then fourth one, photons do not deflect for electric and magnetic field. It means photons are electrically neutral. Photons are electrically neutral. Electrically they are neutral. The fifth one, photons are traveling with same speed. Photons are traveling with the same speed, Say if there is a one source, if that source is emitting a radiation, means the photons, radiation in the sense what? According to this particle nature of light, it consisting some small packets of energy called photons. Remember, all the photons are traveling with the same speed when they are emitted from the certain source. And the next one is, whenever the photon incident on the surface of a metal, it collides with the electron. Because electron is need the energy of photon. By that absorption of this energy, that electron will come out from the material surface. During their collision, the total energy, so you write this point best. During the collision, the total energy as well as momentum of photon are conserved. The total energy as well as momentum of the photons are conserved here. So next one, this is about the sixth point, is about energy as well as momentum, E and P. Energy and momentum are conserved during collision. Seventh point, photons, the rest mass of photon is 0. Rest mass of photon will be 0. Definitely photons are not in state of rest, they are moving. So mass never becomes 0. Suppose if there exists a rest condition, under that rest mass of photon will be 0. Okay, so this is about particle nature of light. So what is the property of that particle? If light exhibiting the particle nature, means what are the properties or characteristics associated with that particle, means these are the properties what I can suppose to say. These are very important for the exam. In examination, they will put a question, write the properties of a photon, or characteristics of a photon. So at the time, these 6 to 7 points are very, very important. So now next I am going for next topic is wave nature of matter. Wave nature of matter. Along with this, we are going to discuss about de Broglie waves, or we can also call as matter waves, and we discuss about de Broglie wavelength. Fine. Listen here, students. Next concept of this chapter is wave nature of matter. So here we are going to study about existency of wave nature for the material. So matter particles are having wave nature. So how they are exhibiting wave nature? Which theory supports in order to prove in order to give the confirmation regarding wave nature of matter, means? Remember students, when you take the radiation, So if you take a radiation and the phenomenon associated with the radiations, say for example, we know that light exhibit phenomenon known as reflection, refraction, interference, diffraction, polarization. In all these phenomenon, we considered light as a wave. We considered light as a wave. Suppose if you come to the concept such as the phenomenon such as photoelectric effect, Compton effect, in these phenomenon, light exhibit a particle nature or particle behavior, but simultaneously light do not exist the two natures, particle as well as wave nature. Particle and wave nature simultaneously do not exist. Sometime it behaves as particle, sometime it behaves as wave. Then the question arose to de Broglie. The question arose to a person de Broglie, and he started his study in the year 1924. He started his study in the year 1924. That what is his study is mainly focused on wave nature of matter. He is mainly focused on wave nature of matter. So what he said means, if radiation has two nature, particle and wave nature, if light basically a radiation is represented by a light only. So light is having two nature, associated with the two nature means, why not the moving particles of the matter? Moving particles of the matter. This is very important. Moving particles. Why he called moving particles? We shall see that in the next further in his equation. I am going to explain. But see, in the year 1924, de Broglie put an hypothesis that only radiation has two nature. Why not matter also? Definitely matter will also has got two nature. And which nature of the matter means? Moving particles of matter. This is very important. Moving particles of matter are associated with the wave nature, he said. They are associated with the wave nature. Moving particles of matter are exhibiting wave nature. And he called those waves as de Broglie waves or matter waves. Actually, we should not pronounce it as de Broglie. It is a de Broglie. De Broglie waves or matter waves. So what are these matter waves or de Broglie waves means? The wave nature associated with the moving particles of a matter are called de Broglie waves or matter waves. And remember, these waves are associated with certain wavelength, and that wavelength is called de Broglie wavelength. Later on I am going to derive this de Broglie wavelength here. So in order to conclude his theory about existency of wave nature of matter, he said that one simple conclusion to conclude his theory. What is that simple conclusion means? The radiation as well as a matter are the two main basic physical entity of this universe. These two physical entities, radiation as well as matter, are the two entities, the basic entities of this nature. And if radiation has got two natures, wave and particle nature, obviously matter will also has got two nature, wave nature as well as particle nature. Very simple conclusion to his theory that this nature loves symmetry. If radiation has two nature, obviously symmetrically that matter should also has got two natures. Then what is the, suppose if it exists a wave nature for material particle means, what is the wavelength that should be? So how he calculated? Now we shall go to the de Broglie's wavelength and that expression. That expression is not there for the exam, but anyhow it is our compulsion to go through that equation because which is important for the competitive examination. Okay, so now I am going to switch on to the concept de Broglie's wavelength. De Broglie wavelength. So de Broglie wavelength. So consider a photon having frequency nu. Consider a photon having frequency nu. Then energy of the photon is given by E is equal to h nu. energy of the photon is given by E is equal to h nu, where h is Planck's constant, nu is frequency. From theory of relativity, the energy of the photon is found to be E is equal to mc square, where m is mass of the photon, c is the speed with which the photon is traveling. In general, it is a speed of light. So now mc square is equal to, equating these two equations of energy, mc square is equal to h nu, therefore m becomes h nu by c square. Suppose if I calculate momentum of a photon, if p is a momentum of a photon, then we supposed to write it that as p is equal to m into c here, because photons are traveling with the velocity of light, m into c. Suppose if I take m as h nu by c square, then momentum m into h nu by c square, sorry, m value itself I am taking here. So p is equal to h nu by c square into c, therefore momentum we are getting is h nu by c. And even we can also write this as p is equal to h by lambda. So h by lambda, because we know that c is equal to nu lambda. Velocity of the light can be related as the frequency of the light and wavelength of the light as c is equal to nu lambda. So therefore the equation nu by c I am replacing with wavelength, so therefore equation becomes p equal to h by lambda. Here p is called momentum of a photon. So with the help of this equation, de Broglie calculated the wavelength. That is, lambda is equal to h divided by p, or lambda is equal to h divided by mc, where lambda is called wavelength of a photon, h is called Planck's constant, m is called mass of a photon, and c is called speed of a photon. And remember, this is the contribution by de Broglie, and hence this wavelength is called de Broglie's wavelength. And this wavelength equation is applicable for material particle also. Therefore, he called it is a general formula for wavelength. It can also be applicable, this equation applicable for both, for radiation. This equation is applicable for radiation, that is for light, as well as for particles, that is for matter. This is a generalized equation calculated by de Broglie in order to calculate the wavelength associated with the radiation as well as for material particles. So we can apply this equation for particles also, and later he is applied this equation for the material particles. So for that I am going to calculate the wavelength. So how de Broglie applied this wavelength equation for material particle means, let us consider a particle. So I am going to erase this part. I think you might be noted this. So next, later on he applied his equation, this de Broglie wavelength equation for material particles, but actually he calculated this for photon particle of light, and later on he applying this equation for the material particle. So let us consider a particle. Let us consider a particle of mass m and moving with the velocity. That particle is moving with velocity say v. Then the momentum of the particle is given by P is equal to mv, and that equation becomes lambda is equal to h divided by mv. That equation becomes mv. Instead of mc, I have written as mv. This is the wavelength associated with the particle of mass m when it is moving with velocity v. See, I am taking here particle not in state of rest, it is moving. The particle is in state of motion. So it means definitely it is associated with kinetic energy. So that kinetic energy is given by half mv square. So therefore, so if I take this equation, I am going to express purely in terms of mv. So purely in terms of mv, I can write this equation as mv is equal to root of 2mk. Then this de Broglie wavelength is modified as lambda is equal to h divided by root of 2mk, where k is kinetic energy of the particle, m is mass of the particle, h is Planck constant. So let us consider, now instead of taking a particle of mass m moving with velocity, I will consider one charge particle. So let us consider a charge particle. I think all of you are getting this equation. Please note down all these equations because it is very important for CET is concerned, because in competitive examination, if you go through the NEET or JEE, you may have some numericals based on the de Broglie wavelength and Einstein's photoelectric equation. So that is the reason why different modification of equations is very, very important. Okay. So h by root 2mk. Let us consider a charge q. Consider a charge q. Suppose if it is accelerated by applying a potential difference of v. When it is accelerated by applying a potential difference, when it is accelerated under potential difference of v, or else when it is accelerated with the potential v, then the energy, kinetic energy, accelerated means that charge will be moving. So therefore kinetic energy associated with this is given by k is equal to EV. So therefore this equation will be modified as lambda is equal to h divided by root of 2m EV. So from this equation we can clearly say that the de Broglie wavelength is small for heavier mass particle. For heavier mass particle, de Broglie wavelength will be small, or else de Broglie wavelength is small for high energetic particles. The particle which possesses high energy, for such particles the de Broglie wavelength will be small. From this equation you can clearly understand this, because h is a Planck constant. Okay, so here m is nothing but the mass of the particle. I can vary the particles. Okay, but Planck constant will be remains constant. Here it is the charge of that particular particle. If you take electron, so charge of that electron. So therefore this equation is nothing but the de Broglie's wavelength equation for the charge particle when it is an accelerated under the potential difference of v. Suppose if we apply this equation for calculation, suppose if I apply this equation for calculation, so for what calculation means, say here I am saying that de Broglie wavelength is small for heavier mass particle. Heavier mass particle, it is a small. How you say? Say now we shall consider now we shall verify this equation. Now verify the de Broglie's hypothesis. Consider a particle of mass 0.1 kg. I am considering one particle of mass 0.1 kg. I am considering 1.1 kg. Remember, and this is moving with velocity, say with 20 meter per second. If I use de Broglie's general equation, wavelength equation, so lambda is equal to h by mv. If I use h by mv, h value is Planck constant 6.624 into 10 raised to minus 34 joule second. So then if I substitute here that Planck constant divided by mass 0.1 kg and velocity 20 meter per second, I am finding 3.313 into 10 raised to minus 34 meter. This is the wavelength I am getting for a particle of mass 0.1 kg. It means this wavelength is small. This wavelength is small. Once if you look at the power of 10 power minus 34, which is a too small value of wavelength. So hence, for a macroscopic material particles, they do not show wave-like property. Why in our daily life so many macroscopic objects are there? If de Broglie suggesting that matter has got wave nature means surrounding to us so many material particles are there, some heavier material particles are there. Okay, why we are not observing wave nature means this is the reason. If you look at the wavelength of the macroscopic body, say 0.1 kg, like this we can calculate for several masses bodies, but you are getting too small of wavelength. As you go on increase mass, you are getting too small wavelength. This is I have taken for 0.1 kg. You see about this value, and now you can understand what is the actual hypothesis of de Broglie. But for heavier mass particles, the wave nature will be associated, but which is a too small wave nature. That is the reason we cannot observe it. But if you go to the subatomic particles such as electron, if you calculate de Broglie wavelength for subatomic particles, suppose if I take a subatomic particles, I can predict their wave nature. Because their masses are nothing but the smaller values compared to this condition. So that is the reason for a subatomic particle, if I calculate wavelength, this wavelength is ranging in terms of 10 to the power of minus 10. So I can tell it is ranging in terms of 1 angstrom. So this wavelength is measurable. Hence, he said that moving particles. I told the de Broglie's hypothesis I was telling, what I was telling the de Broglie's hypothesis as? De Broglie was explaining by taking moving particles of the matter. Why not for the heavier mass particle means? This is the reason. Is it clear? So next, in order to fulfill de Broglie's hypothesis of wave nature of a material particle, the wave nature associated with the moving material particle was done experimentally by Davison as well as Germer. In our next class, I am going to explain Davison and Germer experiment for confirmation of wave nature of electrons. Okay, thank you.